Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's about 2:30 on this Tuesday. You know, and I did my Raw review, and you could probably watch that later on. But I want to talk about something. I was watching Tubby's a little video he did. He's the guy that does these wrestling videos where he talks about what's going on in wrestling, but he's playing the WWE 12 game while he's doing it, which is a cool concept. I'll give him that. Now, I want to talk about Raw last night. Now, I did my Raw review, like I said, but there was one thing that a lot of people are talking about, and that's the whole Lesnar situation. Now, as I said in my review, what they did last night is exactly what they should have been doing from the beginning. They basically found a way to get Lesnar over as a heel. Now, how did they do it? Well, they basically allowed him to have this list of demands that he wanted met, and they were met from a storyline perspective. Now, according to Tubby, the thing that's said on WWE.com is the one demand that will only be met if Brock beats John Cena on Sunday, and that is, if Brock Lesnar beats John Cena, then Monday Night Raw will be Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. Now, some people like the idea, and some people don't. In fact, there was one person that commented in the comment section of the video and said, I'm not a Cena fan, and basically said, look, I'm not a fan of John Cena, but he's got to win, or there's got to be a tie, because you letting Brock win and he gets all this is bullshit. And you gotta agree, that kind of makes sense, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing about building Brock's character. Now, what was interesting about the video that Tubby did was he was playing a match, an Extreme Rules match, if you will, between Brock Lesnar and Triple H. Now, why is that? Well, somebody asked Aaron Riff of No DQ exactly if Brock and Triple H would ever face each other. Well, I think with what's going on, there's no doubt in my mind that's going to come down to it eventually, that Brock and Triple H are going to fight each other later this year, maybe sooner. And it's like I said before, this is all part of a few storylines that are going to be climaxed together down the line, one later than the other. One is the John Laurinaitis general manager deal. Now, as I mentioned when I asked this question of how long he will be general manager, here's what I meant. Here's the thing. You have John Laurinaitis, basically, if you look at his expressions last night on Raw, you kind of saw the face of concern, of fear, and, kind of like the concern, like, okay, I don't want to do this, but if I want him around and I want this match, then I promise the fans to take place on Sunday, I have no choice. Now, this will come back to bite him. This will come back to bite him, there's no doubt. And, I think it's either going to go a few ways with John Laurinaitis. I think we all know that. I think we all know it's going to go a few ways with John Laurinaitis. One way it'll go with John Laurinaitis is the fact that he may end up losing his job. He may end up getting demoted back to interim general manager, which means he would no longer be like a permanent basis and that he could be replaced at any time. Or he could end up being a co-general manager with Teddy Long, and maybe add in that little stipulation that he would also be demoted to interim, while Teddy would be permanent. In other words, any decisions that Laurinaitis would make have to be agreed upon by Teddy Long and finalized. Now, some people actually want to see this whole, Lesnar has total control, basically, deal come to a reality after Sunday, because they want to see how much WWE builds from this. But it's like a lot of people would probably agree. Storyline wise or not, if you're not going to be in an an event or at a show every week, or if you're not going to be competing every night, then why in the hell should you deserve to have the flagship show of the promotion you're working for right now bear your name underneath? I mean, this ain't no damn Hollywood movie. Everybody knows that. But come on. And I'm hoping they bring this up. I'm hoping either the the commentators bring it up. I'm hoping either somebody like Vince or Stephanie or Triple H comes around, brings it up. Heck, I'm even hoping maybe, Cena or Randy bring it up. Or even CM Punk say, hey, as long as we've had Monday Night Wrestling, not once have we ever had a show saying starring one individual. I hope somebody brings that up eventually. Because basically what you got here is, it's like somebody comment. It's like it's like some people have commented with Edge in his promo last night. They said basically Edge looked at Lesnar being like an outsider. It's like he's not really. Basically, like Edge said, he's not here for us. He's not here for the fans. He's not here for this company. He's here for himself, and he's here to make money, and he doesn't care about anything else. Which brings me to a possibility that could happen on Sunday. Now, if they follow through on the whole Lesnar probably prevailing over John Cena, then yeah, it would be very unique and very intriguing to see what happens for a while with Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar and all decisions going through Lesnar. I mean, Tubby mentioned this because he said he talks with the Score podcast. He talked about the Score podcast he listens to. And he said that, here you have Lesnar, who basically shitted on the company, saying how bad it was, and now all of a sudden he wants all big decisions, either it concerns him or not, to go through him before they are finalized. Basically, he wants the final say. And to me, that does make for a compelling storyline, because what you're doing initially is you're having Brock Lesnar, if he wins, Brock Lesnar controlling the lives and the fate of every superstar and diva in the palm of his hands. Now, could they build on something like this? You're damn right they could. They could definitely build off something like this. But how could they build off of it? Well, there's a few scenarios. It's kind of like a piece of a puzzle that you want to see if it'll fit perfectly together or not. For example, last night, a certain diva was named executive administrator. Now think about it this way. She answers to John Laurinaitis. But since John Laurinaitis now has to answer to Brock Lesnar, as crazy as it sounds, this could fit into the Lesnar storyline if he sort of has like almost total control. Because then she could try to suck up to Lesnar, and Lesnar could say, okay, I'll give you, something like, okay, I'll have Laurinaitis give you his job, or give you a partnership in his job, and you have the final say. See what I'm saying? It would be very unique and very interesting for this to happen. Now, I know you're thinking that's crazy. They're not going to go that direction. Well, with WWE, you never know. I mean, if they really want this to really attract people during the summer, they might. Now, speaking of the summer, everybody knows there's a lot of kids that are going to be off during the summer. And a lot of kids want to have a good time. And if they go to a WWE event, they go to a Monday Night Raw, they go to a pay-per-view, they go to a Friday Night SmackDown, they want to see their heroes be okay. They want to see their heroes triumph over the bad guys, over the heels. So, one way this could work is if they do a tie, or if you have the entire roster or some kind of major thing go down on Sunday, to causes either a tie, or it causes Lesnar to lose in some capacity, so that Monday Night Raw is not named after him, and that he's not in total control. Now, some people, like Tubby, have indicated that with the decisions and the demands that he made last night, Triple H could be the one that shows up on Sunday or down the line real soon to counteract Brock Lesnar. And the reason I say that is because, one, even though Brock and Triple H faced each other a few times in triple threat matches when he was with the company 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, they've never faced each other one-on-one. And with the position that Triple H has right now in the company, it could make for a compelling storyline. Because think of this. Brock, like I said, like everybody's talking about, Brock basically said to John Laurinaitis, any decisions you make now have to go through me. What if, this is just an if, what if then Triple H comes back, confronts Lesnar, has a match, but let's say Lesnar says, okay, we're going to have the match, but I want a stipulation. And that is if I win, I become the new COO. And any decision I make is final. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, that would actually be more compelling and more, interest, and create more interest for this outsider, cocky-like character, the legitimized, real-deal character that Lesnar's being portrayed as. I mean, it would make more sense if you say, okay, let's have him lose, but if he really wants control, he really wants decisions to be made under him, then maybe he should try to go for Triple H's position. I'm just saying, it would make sense. It would actually make some sense down the line. But what would be even more compelling, we know wrestling companies and the right writing team can throw some curveballs at us and surprise us. The WWE creative team at times recently have surprised us and have actually pleased the fans in some ways. So what if this creative idea came around? Think of it this way. What if this whole storyline that got going with Brock involves an outside individual? And no, I'm not talking about Paul Heyman. No, I'm not talking about the guy that was in the audience for the second time when Lesnar was around. No, I'm not talking about that guy. The one wearing the same t-shirt and everything. I mean, if he's a part of a storyline, then hey, fine, I don't care, but I don't think so. This is what I'm thinking. It would make it very intriguing, and it would gain some outside audiences to watch WWE's product. Is if Lesnar says, guess what? Me wanting control, basically this is what I think could happen. Lesnar could reveal that he's only wanting total control so he can hand it over to somebody else outside of the company. And again, I'm not talking about Paul Heyman, but it would be somebody you wouldn't expect to be involved in WWE by name or not, by association by name or not. It'd be somebody you wouldn't expect. And just think about it. You add that along with the storyline of trying to legitimize the company, then you kind of have an idea of exactly who I may be talking about. But I digress. I'm just saying, it's just an opinion though. But getting back to what I was talking about, these whole demands and how that all plays out to Sunday and what I mentioned for like future situations, basically we will get Lesnar and we will get Triple H. There's no doubt about it. And like I say, the best scenario is to play it out to the point that if they that when they have the match, because it's inevitable, it's going to happen, that you have Lesnar say, hey, if I beat Triple H, that if he beats Triple H, he gets the COO job. He gets total control. He gets total power. And then that way, hand that total control and power over to his outside associate, whoever that might be. So that's just my thoughts on the whole Lesnar making demands deal. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's far-fetched? Let me know down below. I'll talk to you all later.